U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has rejected suggestions that Washington might have double standards when applying a U.S. law to allegations of abuses by the Israeli military in Gaza. Blinken has confirmed that examinations of such charges are ongoing. Blinken's comments came during a press conference on the 2023 country reports on human rights practices at the State Department.
With regard to the Leahy Law report that I think you were referring to at the outset, this is, I think, a good example of a process that is very deliberate, that seeks to get the facts, to get all the information, that has to be done carefully, and that's exactly how we proceeded, as we proceed with any country that is the recipient of military assistance from the United States. When it comes to allegations of incidents of whether it's violations of international humanitarian law, rights abuses, you name it, we have processes within the department that are looking at incidents that have been raised.
He declined to mention when these processes might produce a definitive assessment. Rights groups have flagged numerous incidents of civilian harm during Israel's offensive in Gaza. Meanwhile, Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant toured the Gaza Strip border outposts and spoke with commanders and soldiers from the controversial Netza Yehuda battalion of the Kafir Brigade. This comes as Israel continues its onslaught. In the latest, displaced Palestinians rushed to the scene where several tents they lived in were targeted by an Israeli airstrike in Rafah. Witnesses said that a Rafah resident received a warning call from the Israeli army asking him to tell residents to leave the area as warplanes were inbound and ready to strike. Israel is also countering strikes from neighboring Lebanon. A barrage of some 35 rockets were fired from Lebanon at the northern community near Safed as Jewish Israelis sat down for the Passover Seder meal. The attack set off sirens in Safed and nearby towns. The IDF issued a statement saying there were no injuries in the attack and that troops shelled the launch sites. On the other hand, new satellite photos suggest that an apparent Israeli retaliatory strike targeting Iran's central city of Isfahan had hit a radar system for a Russian-made air defense battery. This contradicts repeated denials by officials in Tehran in the time since the assault. The strike on an S-300 radar represents far more damage done than in the massive drone and missile strikes carried out by Iran on Israel on the 13th of April. An independent review group on the UN Agency for Palestinians has found some neutrality-related issues. In its much-anticipated report, the review group was created following allegations made by Israel in January that some UNRWA staff may have participated in the October 7th Hamas attacks on Israel. Our next report gives you more details on this. Take a look.
Israel has yet to provide evidence for its accusations that hundreds of staff within the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, or UNRWA, are members of terrorist groups, according to a review of the agency's neutrality released on Monday. The review also noted that UNRWA has a, quote, more developed approach to neutrality than other similar UN or aid groups. According to Catherine Colonna, a former French foreign minister appointed by the UN to lead the review.
There's always room for improvement, and some issues related to neutrality persist. This is why this mission was created.
Colonna was tasked with the review after Israel accused 12 UNRWA staff of taking part in the Hamas-led October 7th attacks that triggered the Gaza war. A separate probe by internal UN investigators is looking into those allegations. 16 states paused or suspended funding to UNRWA after Israel raised the concerns, a severe blow to the agency that provides education, health, and aid to millions of Palestinians in Gaza, the West Bank, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. The review said UNRWA shares staff lists annually and that Israel had not raised any concerns with UNRWA based on those lists since 2011. Israel then stepped up its accusations in March 2024, saying over 450 UNRWA staff were military operatives in Gaza terrorist groups. A spokesperson for Israel's foreign ministry on Monday accused more than 2,000 UNRWA workers of being members of Hamas or Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and said the review of the agency was insufficient. Colonna said she wasn't surprised by the reaction.
I wanted to know that we have had good relations with Israel. We were received really well by a wide variety of actors there, including officials, several levels and in several domains. I just briefed one of those contacts we had there, and I'm not surprised about what we say because I told him, of course you will find it is insufficient, but please take it on board. Whatever we recommend, if implemented, will bring good.
The review said UNRWA neutrality challenges included the size of the operation, with most personnel being recruited locally. It included some staff publicly expressing political views, textbooks with problematic content, and politicized staff unions making threats against management. A spokesperson for UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said he has accepted the recommendations and is calling on all countries to actively support UNRWA as it is a lifeline for Palestinian refugees in the region. A U.S. State Department spokesperson said the United States had received the report and is reviewing it.